Guys, so I wanted to intro this vlog because I realized I have not done that yet, and I've already done like a ton of B-roll. So, hi, welcome to a new vlog. My name is China. I am an aspiring writer, screenwriter, and prose fiction writer, and I am currently working on a fantasy book which centers around my villain character of a thesis TV show that I wrote in grad school. And I'm also currently working on a dystopian script, which you guys are probably familiar with if you have watched my other vlogs. But I realize I don't like intro myself a lot in my vlogs, but there you go. But basically, I wanted to update you guys on the channel, which I feel like I've been doing quite a lot, but I've been like really busy this year just with work and health stuff and all that jazz. Not a lot of like social things. I feel like although May was kind of busy with a lot of like events and stuff. And before that, I was just kind of in a weird headspace and haven't really been spending a lot of time on this channel. I also took a break from reactions. I haven't done a reaction since like We on Fire by Team and Pinky Up by Cat's Eye. I think those are my last two reactions, but I feel like overall I'm in a better headspace with K-pop right now, and I think that break was necessary. So I think I am ready to get back into reacting. And moving forward, like I'm not really going to let anyone else dictate what my channel is going to be. I feel like I get too in my head about, oh, like this isn't interesting enough, or I'm not giving enough info or anything like that. I purely just like watching music videos and just reacting to them and my favorite idols and stuff. So I a lot of it is just like shock value for me. So yeah, a part of me did want to go into like storytelling elements of like music videos, which I may start doing more because I am a screenwriter and I feel like that could be an interesting take on reacting. So I may do that in the future, especially because a lot of the groups that I follow do have a lot of story elements like in their world and like a lot of lore and stuff, especially the hype groups. So I think that could be interesting, and I might try to be more proactive in my reacting. And I've also kind of taken a break from my TikTok, which I think I mentioned in the last vlog, but I just haven't been loving the engagement on TikTok, so I kind of just stopped posting there, but I mainly post on Instagram and YouTube Shorts, so definitely check me out on those places. I have my handles like in the description always, so definitely check me out there. And I do like K-pop is kind of really the only thing that I talk about, and my writing like on my social medias, so it'll kind of be like smaller bite-sized pieces of what I do on my YouTube channel. But definitely look forward to more content. I just feel like I'm in a better headspace right now. I was just in a weird headspace in general because I'm, again, still trying to figure out my health stuff and just a lot going on in general. So this year has been quite weird. And yeah, I can't believe we're already heading into June. But I also want to add more like bookish content on here and to talk more about like the TV shows that I like watching, basically just like everything I like to do. That's why I changed my name to Diaries of China, because like this is just my place to like talk about the things that I love, and hopefully you guys love it too. And I obviously know, and I keep saying this, but like we're all going to have different taste, and that's kind of why I stopped reacting to, because I feel like I couldn't give my opinion on anything, even though it was like purely my opinion, and like sometimes that's not going to match you. But yeah, I also in general haven't been loving K-pop recently this year. Like just the genres that they're playing with haven't been jiving with my taste in music, so I just haven't had a lot of fun like reacting to K-pop, because again, there's only been like a handful of albums that I can like point out as being like my albums of the year. But I just wanted to give that little update for you guys as I'm making my matcha with my community goods matcha, and I'm not sure how I like it, but I was planning on going to community goods tomorrow, but I had to take my car in, which is another thing that I'm like dealing with right now. So I've just been a lot of like stressed out with like money and stuff like that. Testing for health stuff and also car stuff costs a lot, but hopefully, if it is what I think it is, the car stuff will be like a zero fee because it's a warranty extension possibility. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. I hope you enjoy otherwise. Oh, the color looks a little better, but not as green as the other one, I will say. But I also am using pistachio milk, and it's a little darker in color, and yeah, but we'll see how she tastes. I don't know if I love it. It's quite strong. It is a strong taste. I don't know that I love it, but let me add more syrup. Because I do like mine a little sweeter, but I don't know. I also feel like my ice has kind of melted, so let's see if that syrup helped a little bit. Oh yeah, I needed more syrup for my liking. I don't know, I think I still like this one better, so. But I do want to actually like go to Community Goods, so we'll see if it's better there or if I'm just not Community Goods matcha girl. Yeah, I needed more syrup for my liking. Is it worth $20? I don't think so, but a lot of people like Rocky's matcha, so I'm kind of surprised. But also everyone's taste buds are different, so everyone's gonna like different types of matcha. And my kitchen is a mess, but I am going to eat dinner now because I am hungry. So I'll chat with you guys later. Here is dinner tonight, some Greek food, yum yum yum, and then watching a writing vlog and drinking my matcha. Yay for Friday nights. Hi everyone. So I just wanted to quickly chat with you guys about my writing recently. I just had dinner and the lighting looked pretty nice, so I was just like, I'll just continue this little chit chat with you guys. So yeah, but anyways, I wanted to update you guys on what I wrote this morning. So I've been kind of chugging away at my book, which is a vampire origin story, which I'm calling Project Reborn, and it is about the villain in my thesis that I wrote for grad school, which was a pilot for a TV historical fiction vampire series. And I really liked my villain character, and I did a lot of like character work on him, and I wanted to write his own novel because I feel like he just has he has an interesting life and he is an interesting person. So I feel like he would have been in a cool story to tell in a book form. So that's what I'm currently working on. And this morning I wrapped up kind of like the break into two section, which to me is where like the main like journey starts off for him. It's when he is turned into a vampire. Mine isn't like a traditional turning of a vampire, which I think is going to be kind of unique in a lot of other, or like unique from a lot of other vampire stories. So he basically gets cursed to being a vampire. This witch coven basically tries to save him, and he was brutally beaten by people, and like basically almost to the point of death. And his the person he loves is a witch, and she really wanted to save him, and things went a little haywire with the curse, and he was actually turned into a vampire. So that's kind of his little origin story. And so we kind of just hit that point like after he was cursed, and he basically has to leave because he has this like urge to kill people, and he killed people who he didn't want to kill, and he's afraid of killing the love of his life. So he and his friend is helping him like leave the country basically to kind of get away from the love of his life because again, he has this urge to kill her even though he loves her. So it was a very intense like scene to write. So it took me a while to get to this point, but we finished it this morning. And now we're kind of in I'm writing the story in 3 acts basically. So I'm writing it like when he meets this girl, Carla, and my main character's name is George. So that whole first part is like their love story and then also their like tragedy. And then act 2 or part 2 is kind of where they split off and do their own journeys to try to help each other and also try to stay away from each other. And they also kind of start their own lives outside of like their normal world and like what they were living in. So yeah, I'm currently writing the chapter where him and his best friend, who is having a tough time dealing with the fact that George is now a vampire and he has to protect this vampire, but he helps George get away from the South and they're going to go back to Europe. George is actually from Greece and him and his father went to America to kind of start a new life together. But now he's going back to Europe because it's kind of around the same time as when World War One is starting. So his friend Isaac has this like idea to bring him to this war centric society in Europe because he can like potentially feed on dying soldiers. So that's how he's going to stay alive until they can figure something out. And then Carla is going to go to Virginia to meet some witches to try to help reverse his curse. So there's going to be 2 different stories going on because I also want to focus on her. A lot is going to happen with her and they both their lives kind of mirror each other. I write everything in his POV. It's kind of written similarly as like Interview with the Vampire, but it's not an interview, but he's kind of telling the story to a certain character who he meets and is involved in like Carla's new life. And then something happens, but I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, so that's where we are. And I've hit 21,448 words and I have just been really liking what I've been writing. And this is obviously like just a first draft, so I'm kind of just writing what I want to say right now and then like in later drafts I'll make it more like visually stunning and like more, flowery and all that. I feel like I'm more of an atmospheric writer, but in my first drafts, I kind of get the bare bones of everything and like dialogue and stuff. But later on, I'll add like extra words. Usually, my first drafts for books are generally underwritten, which is funny because for my scripts, they're more overly written. So, because I'm very much of a visual person and I like to write everything like visually, even though you don't really need to do that in scripts, but I still want there to be prose because like I want my writing to be more distinct from other screenwriters. So I try to incorporate more prose writing in there, but also make it more actionable because screenwriting is more actionable. But yeah, that's where we are with Project Reborn. And like I mentioned before, I have been working on the dystopian script. I rewrote the sequence 1. Because what I do for second drafts is that I basically rewrite the whole draft altogether. Sometimes I change scenes around and add new scenes and stuff. So it's just easier for me to basically make a 0 draft again with a new direction. And I also usually for second drafts I work more on character arcs, and this script has a lot of characters, so I want to make sure everyone story wraps up nicely because it again is a sci-fi, so it is a little bit longer, but there's just like a lot going on, so it kind of needs to be I wrote that last weekend and I might try to get some of that done this weekend as well if I can, and I might do a little like nighttime session later on. I did make my matcha. I don't know if I love that blend, but again, it might just not be to my liking, even though I know a lot of people love community goods. I also only did 3 grams because I didn't want it to be too strong because it is a little bit later. So, yeah, it is Friday night, and I think I'm going to watch an episode of Pursuit of Jade tonight. And then, sorry, I'm like also digesting the dinner I just ate. Yeah, I might watch an episode of Pursuit of Jade and maybe watch Marty Supreme because it's on HBO Max, or I think it's HBO Max, but I still have yet to watch that movie. I don't know if I'm gonna love it, to be honest. I do love Timothée Chalamet, despite what everyone, says about him. I have always really liked him, and even before, Kylie and all that. And if they're happy together, they're happy together. Like, just let them be. They're, their own people, and they seem to be happy. So I have no issues with that whatsoever. But the synopsis of this film doesn't really interest me. Yeah, but I know his like acting is great in it, and I mean he's does good in anything. But people were like, "Oh, this could be his Oscar year." I always thought it was going to be Michael B. Jordan from the beginning, so I, wasn't upset, and I didn't think he was snubbed or anything like that. But again, I also haven't watched the movie. But I also liked Jacob Elordi's portrayal of Frankenstein, and I thought there was a good group of male actors this year for this category. So, but I did think, Michael B. Jordan definitely deserved that. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling again so this isn't too long, but I think that's going to be the plan for tonight, and I will try to update you guys again this weekend sometime. If things go well with the car tomorrow, and if it's like a quick fix they can do in a day, I do need to go into town to pick some things up. So I ordered Anteem's album. I ended up ordering a lot of editions of his album, which I try not to buy multiple editions of albums, but Anteem's a little different for me. So I initially bought the K-pop Nara version of the solo edition, and that was random, but I wanted the PC, the photo card in it, and I got Harura for that one, but I also want Fuma and Nicholas. So I ordered it from Music Plaza, and I ordered to pick it up at the store because it's just here in Koreatown. So I do need to go there and pick it up. So yeah, that's why I was like, I could go first to Community Goods to get my matcha and try that finally, and then head on over to K-Town because it's only like 20 minutes from each other. So yeah, but if my car's not ready, I don't know what I will do. I might have to Uber, which I don't love spending the money on Uber, but I might have to do that. So that's the plan for the weekend. The lighting is going down, so it is time to watch some TV. tried a new matcha drink that is really good. I'm actually like really excited about this one because it is really hot. I did not expect it to be so hot today, but I decided to make a matcha lemonade. I tried like a canned matcha lemonade before and I really liked it, and I had some drinks laying around that I was like, I can easily make this at home. I was gonna go to Community Goods today, but I did have to take my car in the shop, and Ubers are just really expensive getting to that area. So I decided to make a little cafe here and made my matcha lemonade with sparkling coconut water with yuzu. And I got this from Trader Joe's and I want to taste it on its own. Well, that's really good. I actually really like that. That was kind of my base instead of doing milk today. And then I made a cream top of, I still have some coconut cream left over, so I made a little cream top with some coconut milk and the coconut cream and salted caramel syrup, and I just put that on top, which I showed you in a little aesthetic shot. But this is so good. This is probably my favorite drink that I've made so far using matcha, and I might do this more often. You can get a 4-pack of these at Trader Joe's, so I might try to get those. I just wanted to switch up my matcha routine and try something different, especially since I still had some other drinks on hand, and I just want to get better at making my own matchas. And I have been actually loving this matcha. It's so good, and I like it better than the Rockies one that I tried the other day, but I might try the Rockies one again with like correct measurements and stuff like that. And I used correct water temp, so my foam was a little better today, and this is like gold. This is so good. I can honestly work at a matcha shop. I've been getting better at like making my matchas. This is so refreshing. All right, so now that I have this and a little bit of caffeine, I'm going to do some more writing. I started writing more of my book earlier, and I've been really liking like where I'm going so far, so I kind of want to get back into writing that. But yeah, I still have some of this cream top left, which I might save for like my coffee tomorrow to put on top of my coffee. But yeah, it is super hot. I just went to pick up a package and I'm like dying. Just wanted to share this with you. Delicious. If anyone wants to try, I will put the recipe down below.